Hello and welcome back to Gameshock TV. I'm Chris Hewitt. I love a montage. Let's see one. The battle of the fanboys continues with the Gears squaring up to Resistance 3. Steve checks out the games and girls of the Eurogamer Expo and everything else you need to know about the month of gaming but we're afraid to ask in our mammoth review roundup. Gaming conventions tend to attract two types of people. World-weary studio developers looking suicidal in the corner and potentially unhinged partygoers clad almost entirely in latex. Landing somewhere between the two, we sent Steve Hill along to the Eurogamer Expo. Thankfully, he left the latex at home, but nevertheless managed to root out some Class A weirdo, Class A revelers, and got some hot scoops on the biggest games of the year. Not weirdos. You're not weirdos. Please don't kill me.
Yeah, the big hitters are here. Modern Warfare 3 is playable. That's something of a scoop, isn't it?
Well, never mind Modern Warfare 3, Steve. Just Dance 3 is actually on the show floor today. I personally am much more excited about that one.
What on earth have you come as and why?
I am a Wipeout 2048 pilot and I'm working here with the PSP Vita.
I'm speechless for once. Thank you very much.
We've got 17 planets in the game, enormous amount of stuff for people to do, and of course we're the first fully voiced MMO, which is not an inconsiderable task. We actually have about 10,000 speaking parts in the game, about 900 voice actors. We set out to make sure that it felt familiar to people who previously played MMOs. So yeah, we have a similar kind of hotbar-based gameplay. Yes, we have levels. We have 8 classes, as we said, and then 2 advanced classes for each of those classes.
For Ninja Gaiden 3, we obviously want to keep the difficulty there for the fans that like difficulty. We also don't want it to be a barrier to entry for other people. And the way we're addressing that with Ninja Gaiden 3 is offering different playstyles. The story mode is a single-player story mode, should last you probably 6 to 8 hours, but there's also an online mode as well. Online, you'll start as a rookie ninja, and you can customize your appearance, you can customize your weapons, to make the ninja that you want to make. There's a co-op mode where you can take on ninjas, take on missions, and there are team battle and deathmatch modes as well, and we're definitely trying to make rules and put our own sort of ninja spin on some classic games.
I think what we wanted to do with the sequel was not to create Arkham Asylum 2.0, was to create a completely new experience for our fans. So to take them off the island and into Gotham City itself and to really create this nasty, caged environment within the prison. We've got a great relationship with DC, so we're able to bounce a lot of ideas off them. But as a studio, we like to think of ours as the Arkham Batman. So we're creating our own Arkham timeline and defining our own story. We've got Robin as a playable character in the challenge maps, and our Robin is a Tim Drake interpretation of Robin. So he's quite a pensive character, but he's the only character in our challenge maps who has a weapon. He fights the bow staff, and he's got a shield, so it's a really different angle on the combat that people like.
Well, I'm guessing this is some kind of Star Wars thing.
It might be, yeah.
What have you come as?
Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid 1.
The Sniper, Team Fortress 2.
That's niche. That is niche. Mildly terrifying? Are you kind of going to carry something with a balaclava? Do the police have anything to say about you wandering around with this kind of garb?
We use carrier bags.
Did you put this together yourself, or did your mother help?
When putting it together like the past year, I spent about 600 or 700 quid on it so far.
600 or 700 notes on that? Do the police have your address?
I had most of the costume lying about at home anyway.
Which is worrying.
And I do play the game, do like the Sniper, so yeah.
I'm coming tomorrow as well with a few more people that I do know who will be in costume as well.
Same costume, or you got one for every day?
No, same costume.
Yeah, see the pros, you kind of Comic-Con people have a different costume every day. This is amateur night. No further questions.
It's my little prop wolf.
You're a walking Rebus puzzle. I mean, are you a big gamer yourself? You don't seem to have any kind of opposable thumbs or anything. On that bombshell. This has been Gameshock TV at the Eurogamer Expo. I despair.
As you may have gathered, the post-apocalypse has created a bit of a stir at the moment, with both Sony and Microsoft producing threequels to Gears of War and Resistance, thereby creating a huge Thunderdome powered entirely by fanboy rage. Now, we like a bit of Gears here at Gameshock, but we're also partial to a spot of Resistance. So, which is better? There's only one way to find out. Fair and recent debate, thanks to a lawsuit from Harry Hill. In the black corner, the PS3 has first-person shooter Resistance 3, in which humble father Joseph Capelli saves the world from an alien race so he can see his son again. In the beige corner, the 360 has third-person shooter Gears of War 3, in which bull-necked Marine Marcus Phoenix saves the world from an alien race so he can see his dad again. You know, we'll give this one to Resistance purely on the basis that children are the future. Each proponent is, of course, heavily armed, with Resistance just about edging the weaponry in terms of ingenuity, purely for the mutator alone. Anything that allows you to defeat opponents through the medium of bulbous cysts deserves every award going. As for self-preservation, Joseph receives a magic health boost by walking into a conveniently placed Green Lantern, a return to the health pack mechanic, adding a genuine tension that makes you wonder why it went out of fashion. Gears arbitrarily wins this round, however, for its tried and tested ain't got time to bleed mentality, whereby wounds automatically heal simply by ignoring them for a while, which is generally more useful when it comes to world saving. Modes of transport again goes to Gears, since flying around in an inflated alien gas bag with teeth beats First Great Western's finest any day, even if the latter is often more scary on a day-to-day basis. On the boss front, it's hard to make much of a distinction, since both sets can usually be relied upon to fold like a wet napkin as soon as you shoot them in the eye, or anywhere glowing suspiciously orange. For those who prefer multiplayer, Resistance features a bog-standard 16-player affair, whereas Gears introduces new modes such as Beast and Horde. Cooperatively, 4 players can plough through Gears, whereas Resistance is playable by 2 people, either online or gently nuzzling up to you on the sofa. Most important, of course, and the true mark of any self-respecting blockbuster, is how your protagonist faces a clear and present danger of your commoner garden ladder. Our cog jumps up for the single-handed approach, fearlessly hoisting themselves up in one fluid movement, whereas Joseph ponderously approaches it rung by rung, like a man burdened by a sentient thought process, and therefore very unlikely to save anything. All of which means it's a sound victory for the Gears.
Juicy.
But while Marcus Phoenix and co win on all the important counts, it's a tie when it comes to the less vital aspects such as gameplay, with both outings producing gripping and worthy finales for great franchises, teeming with excellent graphics and emotional payback. Whichever console is your thing, you'll be well served to check out your respective grimy threequel. It's just that Gears has better ladder sequences. Well, after a summer filled to the brim with not a lot, really, gaming releases were back with a vengeance this month, with a torrent of shiny discs swamping the Gameshock doormat, and we've cherry-picked the best of the bunch to help you dispel those autumn blues. The Xbox 360's automotive orgy returns for a 4th outing, featuring so many cars that some of them had to be squeezed onto a second disc. With the driving model already honed to perfection in previous installments, the emphasis here appears to be on simply throwing more shiny vehicles at slobbering car lovers. As much a multimedia package as it is a game, this is nothing less than car porn, with every detail lovingly recreated for men who become tumescent at the mere thought of an elongated camshaft. Camshaft. There's also a Top Gear endorsement, including a hilarious intro from bison-headed Jeremy Clarkson, in which he rails against the environment and uses the word lentil-matic. More amusingly, there's a disclaimer saying that the views of Top Gear are not shared by Microsoft or developer Turn 10. Nevertheless, the Top Gear test track is painstakingly recreated, replete with Skittle-based challenges. Presumably under Microsoft's orders, Turn 10 have even shoehorned in a bit of Kinect compatibility, with cars steerable by simply holding your hands in front of you, like a child. More subtly, you can glance in your wing mirror by moving your head. Not easy, mind you, if it's the size of Clarkson's. In an unsurprisingly dystopian knockoff of Blade Runner, human mechanical augmentation is causing the kind of controversy that makes Daily Mail readers spit coffee from their nostrils and forms the basis of both the game's plot and its intricate levelling up system.
Where is this leading me?
All gravelly monotones and dark alleyways, the future may not be bright, but it's most definitely orange, with an over-enthusiastic colour wash adding pizzazz to some otherwise ropey graphics and road cutscenes. Luckily, the RPG-inspired action proves compulsive, propelled by a cracking story. But what begins as a joyful mashup of Metal Gear Solid and Mass Effect degenerates into a mishmash of endless hiding or instant death, and the emphasis on stealth over carnage leads to a frustratingly fractured pace and some infuriatingly powerless deaths. Good, but hardly revolutionary. It's always satisfying to play a game that so willfully loses its marbles, and none more fully embraces their balls-out nuttiness than Driver San Francisco. In the gaming first, you play a man in a coma whose out-of-body experiences allow you to shift into drivers of other vehicles. Yes, that's right. This not only lets you take control of any car you like, but also means you can jump ahead of a getaway driver you're chasing and then plough into them headlong with an oil tanker. Simply awesome in single player, but at its mischievous best against friends, it's what Burnout Paradise would have been had its makers adhered to a steady regime of recreational drugs. A funky soundtrack and tongue-in-cheek style kick off a streak of fun that runs throughout the game, firing up a hit of pure entertainment. Camp, singy, shooty goodness from Sega as you choose one of 4 different vehicles for arcade-style obliteration, each with unique powers for spewing out leaden death. The right analog stick is used to dole out machine gun-related doom, and while it's fiddly at first, it proves to be the best way of keeping the action frenetic and freewheeling. Special mention must also go to the driving, which plays like an off-road buggy racer and adds to the sheer velocity of rampant destruction. Arcade action in its truest form. Rounding off the monthly motorcade for people who joined Santander solely on Lewis Hamilton's recommendation, this year's update of the award-winning F1 franchise comes replete with DRS, KERS, and enough features to make acronym fans wet their anoraks. As expected, atmosphere, handling, and authenticity are industry pace setters, but with the added extras comes a shift in difficulty. Playing it with driving aids on is still fun, but leaves a feeling of guilt akin to riding a Harley in first gear with the stabilisers on. For those that can hack it, it's the best edition yet, and a superb approximation of a complex and enthralling sport. But casual gamers should note that a title-winning challenge in this game will engulf months of your life and the vast majority of your sanity. It's not often you get to play a Japanese platform slasher based on the Hebrew Book of Enoch, and for good reason. That it fails to make any sense at all is perhaps not surprising, but the lack of exposition or involvement in the story places a great deal of weight on the gameplay. Sadly, button-mashing purgatory awaits, livened only by some supernaturally stunning art design, which somehow manages to combine the aesthetics of Tron and Turner's watercolours, all within the same landscapes. A gorgeous, ambitious, but ultimately hollow experience. Well, that's it for this month's edition of Gameshock TV. Join us next month when we'll be getting our clammy hands in the likes of Arkham City, Battlefield 3, and a small independent title called Modern Warfare 3? Might be good, who knows. Anyway, see you next time.